We're now joined by BYU football coach Kalani Sitake of 365 Sports. And I would think coaches always think something else could be done or accomplished. But your last day of practice today, do you feel like you've pretty much gotten everything you've needed, at least for the most part, done?
I'm going to tell you what every head coach is going to tell you, and that's no. But I mean, yeah, for spring football, what we want to get out of it, this is a different approach that we've had in years past because it's a different team and a different situation. So way more live work and way more physical than we've ever had in spring football. We put a lot quarterbacks live. We tackled them to the ground. We did things like that put basically a bunch of guys at risk. But I don't know how to prep our guys for the game if we don't spar and if we don't do it the right way. So that's what we did. I feel like we did it and got away with avoiding injury. I'm obviously got one more practice today, but the game of football is a physical and violent one, and that's just sometimes you just have to risk it to get better. And that's I felt like that was a wise decision for our program to make, and I feel really good about the 14 practices. I feel good about the 15th one coming up as well.
Your defensive coordinator, you know him in Jay Hill because of your time at Utah, and that was one of the biggest changes, I guess, in your offseason. What does he bring to the table that perhaps you felt you needed?
Well, I think we're on the same page with everything. We're kind of raised in the same system, speak the same language in terms of football and defense. He also brings a bunch of experience as a special teams coordinator when we were there. So he's done that. He was with us when we went from the transition from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, and now he'll be with us as we make this transition from the independent school into the Big 12. So we really feel good about the approach and the experience. I mean, it's kind of weird. We're older, way older than we used to be, but I feel like that experience that he brings to the table, he brings to the team, the things that he's done as a leader. He's been a head coach before, so he's done this. He's put a lot of guys in the league from his time as a head coach at Weaver State, and I just really like his energy, the things that he brings, and the staff that he put together. You're really impressed with him. So I've seen a significant difference in our team and the way that they've taken to him, and I look forward to seeing him continue to get us ready for the season as we go through the summer and go through fall camp.
Coach, you mentioned making everything live. Is that maybe something you feel you need to do more of now that you have, instead of guys who are juniors and seniors that have come up and learned in your system and come there, a lot of your juniors and seniors, including, one of your new quarterbacks, Kedon Slovis, are transfers. So does that help maybe accelerate their insertion into your system a little bit better?
Yeah, and there's a lot of film of seeing Kedon Slovis when he was live during the season, but there's not a lot of film that we have on our guys running our system, so we want to see them run our system and see if the timing works. I think sometimes quarterbacks get this nice protection, and then defenses get somebody down by just touching them. Well, I haven't seen anyone get tackled by someone just slapping their rear end, so that doesn't work as well, but all the other stuff works really nicely. It was a deliberate approach from us as a coaching staff to say that we need to get better at the physical part of it, and that's breaking tackles, avoiding tackles on the offensive side, protecting the football, and then on defense, making tackles and beating blocks. So there's only one way to do it, and that's when you get live. I think the O-line, D-line, when they're in the trenches, that seems live all the time, even if they're not tackling. But we're missing something when we're not putting the other guys live, and sometimes that's the stuff that helps you win games, and that's the decision that we had to make. And how I think it's easier when you're having competition to be able to evaluate them when things are live. And so it's hard to do it when you're assuming that the person got him down and you're assuming that he had the protection. I think it's important that we kind of put it out there so that the guys can be evaluated and get great competition and then get our depth chart correct as well.
Kalani, I've always thought, and there's these terms now, the Power Five or the Group of Five or whatever. And I've always thought of Brigham Young, and I think that's true, that Brigham Young has always been Power Five, even though independent or a part of any conference. Are you, in your opinion, because of the age of your roster, because of where you guys and who you've played, where you've been before, perhaps more, I guess, ready prepared for the Big 12 than maybe not against the incoming three along with you, but perhaps among the four that are joining the conference?
Well, I can't say comparison to the others that are joining the conference. I think those are some wonderful programs and well-coached teams. And so I can speak for what we're doing. I don't know. We'll see when we get there, but I know one thing. We played against a high number of P5 teams throughout the years. I mean, I'm going on my 8th year here, 7 years as a head coach. We've seen a lot of P5 programs from a lot of different conferences, and we've had success and we've struggled. And so now we're at the point now that the position that I wanted when I got the job is let's play as many of them as we can, so we see how we can improve. And now that we're going to the conference, it's there. We have this opportunity. There's going to be some familiarity with everything that maybe some natural rivalries will occur now that we play somebody every year. But I know one thing: once we get there, it's going to be way different. It's not however you want to plan it, but we have to get our program in position to be able to adjust to whatever shows up. I mean, that's if we were able to predict it on paper who's going to win the Big 12 championship, then it wouldn't be as fun, right? So I think that's how we have to be in a position where I want our team to be at our best and make sure that we prepare and perform at our best. And we're going to have to be physical. That's just part of the game. We're going to have to be a physical team. And when we get there, I think we'll have a better chance if we can be physical. Now, saying that, it's not like the other teams in the Big 12 aren't going to be physical. They're very tough. You see it on film. Even the incoming teams are really tough. So that's the exciting part about the season, that there's going to be high level of competition. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the matchups. There's a huge sense of urgency from our end to get our team ready. And we don't know what to expect, but I do have some experience of going through that already from a Mountain West team into a P5 Pac-12 team schedule. And so we're doing what we think is right, and maybe some things that we think we could have improved on from that experience the first time when we were at Utah. Now trying to have that approach to here going in with BYU, and it really helps to have Jay Hill and Aaron Roderick, who are with me on staff when we made that transition, now here with me at BYU as we go through entering the Big 12.
How much of the last 2 years have you spent thinking about it, or do you just think about it when it's real this year and preparing for it? Because you have to do what's on your schedule before you get to the Big 12, but, you do want to, prepare for what's coming, especially recruiting-wise and everything else like that.
Oh, from the announcement and the invite, that was always in the back of our minds. We knew the Big 12 was going to happen. We knew that wasn't not now but later. But you also know that when you're recruiting and you're doing that, you have to prep for that time to enter the conference. So that there was a deliberate approach to it, and all of the things that were happening is to make sure that we get our team ready. Now we can try to be as ready as we can, and then you still got to go through the schedule. And that, again, I just want our guys to be excited about it, and then the opportunity to perform in this conference. We're really excited to be partnered up in this conference with all the different teams. I know a bunch of the coaches in the conference and have had opportunities to meet all of them, and I'm just really impressed with them. Just what they do with their programs. You see it on film, but even in person when I talk to them, really impressed with them. I'm really impressed with the leadership that I see from the Big 12. I think they're innovative and creative. They find different ways to do things. They're active and they're always working. I had the honor of meeting a bunch of the leaders in the Big 12, and I've been nothing but impressed with them. And so whatever they decide to do from here on out and whatever decisions they've made, I've been 100% behind it, including inviting us to the conference. So I feel really positive about everything that's happening. My job is to make sure our team's ready to roll by the time we enter the conference and we play that first game in the 2023 season.
Kalani, I know you have a practice to get to. I have one more question. Paul might as well. But Kedon Slovis is on campus. We alluded to him earlier. Is it his job, or is there a competition that you will wait to see how things work out today, the game, and moving? Or you've already had your game, but moving forward into the offseason?
Yeah, Kedon's a front runner. I mean, I think he's been doing some great things in spring and his experience. But we have a bunch of guys behind him that are hungry trying to take his spot. And so nothing's ever set in stone. A lot of improvement can be made from the summer. And so I like that someone could possibly be written in pencil at a certain spot, but I like the competition to try to beat them out. I only know one way, and that's to play the best. So by the time we get to August, if guys have done the right things and made the right sacrifices and worked the right way, I got to play the best person. I don't care who they are, what their name is. I just want to make sure that that's the case. And if that's the case, Kedon better stay ahead of it. And he knows the guys in that room that are trying to get that position. And great competition, that only brings one thing. That's all our guys being the best we can. I mentioned earlier that our team needs to be the best we can. That means even in depth, we have to have the best backup quarterback, the best third-string quarterback, all the way down to the scout team quarterback. All of that stuff matters. And the only way you get that done is you got to compete and make sure that people know that I as a head coach and our staff as a football staff will play the best person, and that competition doesn't ever end.
Coach, the last thing before we let you go, it occurs to me, though, that in your very DNA as a football player and a coach, you were a fullback, and nothing but live practice makes sense to a fullback, right?
Well, for fullbacks, it is live. Everything's live.
Yeah.
So that's like we have to do all of it. I think the fullbacks kind of got tricked into it. If I would have just gained a little bit more weight, I could have easily been a D lineman and O lineman. I could have done the simplified or the modified running. But instead, because you're a fullback, you have to do all the running that the running backs and the receivers do, and then you have to do all that physical part of banging like the O lineman, D lineman do. So we're a rare breed, but you look at it, the H-backs, fullbacks, they're different, built differently. And I'm just lucky that I had my opportunities as a fullback to be a captain for Lavelle Edwards, and now as a former fullback, I get to be the head coach. So that fullback mentality is still there, but I think hopefully the team could take after that mentality. But we do know that we need quarterbacks and these fancy speed guys out there, and the big uglies up front too. But the fullbacks are the true hybrids that have to do it all. So I always have. I always lean a little bit towards the fullbacks. I always want to recognize the fullbacks on the other team. So when we shake hands, I always try to go find them, say hi to them and stuff like that. And I think that stuff matters to me. That's just how it is. When I got the head job here, our first game, I don't know if this was wise of me, but I wanted to make sure we were on the goal line. I just wanted to make sure that the first touchdown was made by a fullback. Because who knows if it will ever happen. So we got that first one. I mean, I'm a fullback. I played in 50 games as a fullback, and I scored one touchdown.
Yeah.
It's a thankless job, but we love it, and we're a different breed. But hopefully that mentality will be able to allow those other fullbacks out there in the world to go have some success and enjoy their lives.
Well, yeah, absolutely, Coach. Thanks for fighting for the breed of fullbacks. Absolutely. Good luck with your last practice. Enjoy whatever offseason you do get, and I know we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for the time. We're excited to be in the Big 12. Thank you.
That's Coach Kalani Sitake, BYU, here on 365 Sports.
Yeah, he's a good dude.